Good morning, 10:06 a.m. Eastern Standard Time on this Friday, May 31st, 2024. I'm XRP Future Millionaire, and I reside in the great state of Michigan. So I want to wish everybody a good morning. I can offer you a little update on my son. He had his surgery at 7:30 a.m. Everything was a complete success. They put in his G-tube. He's sleeping right now in the room. He's back in his room. So all of that was a success. Now it's on to, seeing how he's going to be pain-wise when he wakes up fully, and to see how he tolerates the feedings. But if everything goes good, they're hopeful that maybe tomorrow we can finally go home after being here for a week. And we have a resolution now to help our son. So I thank everybody for the prayers. I thank everybody for reaching out. But it seems like we've gotten through the hard stuff, and now we've got to a solution. So he did get a G-tube put in. So he's going to be a little sore. But he's, like we've said, he's dealt with a broken femur when he was 6 months old in a car accident. He had to get 7 stitches over his eye when he was about 3. He tripped over something and hit his head on his bed. And so he's a tough kid. So I think he'll do okay. So now we just have to play out the day. So I appreciate, like I said, all the kind words. I appreciate everything from everybody. But now it's back to business. So I've been doing my best to do updates, and I've done updates every single day. We have not been able to do a single live in the last week, which we'll get back to that when I get back home. And we'll get back to a regular schedule. So with that being said, let's get into the charts, because not only do we have to talk about price action, two very, very interesting things we have to read. First, 262 million XRP was snapped up by a single whale as a price reversal waits, and the fact that we haven't broken down the cup and handle support at 51.5 cents should suggest that we could have a volatile reversal to the top side. We're extremely undervalued when it comes to relation to Bitcoin. So we'll also get into the XRP Bitcoin ETF, as I bought a little bit more of, not ETF, the XRP Bitcoin pairing, as I bought a little bit more of that yesterday. Now solidly over 4,700 and invested into it. And then we've also got Brad Garlinghouse came out as he's talking about how the XRP ETF is inevitable. The Ripple CEO predicts. So the whole point here is, if you're going to buy XRP and you're accumulating, you're going to want to do it before the ETF. Look what happened to Ethereum. Just on the backs of the ETF announcement, it's gone up, and that's a huge bull flag right now. So Ethereum very well could find itself up towards that $4,700-$4,800 mark here in the short term if this played truthfully. And as we already know with Bitcoin went up some 20,000 roughly after the announcement and the end result of the Bitcoin ETF. So there's a lot of optimism here. XRP's under 52 cents. The main importance here is the fact that, yes, even though we broke down the golden cross and it wasn't validated yesterday, we are still holding this consolidation here. Let me get rid of this so it's not confusing. We're still holding this consolidation, and this is the handle support at 515. The fact that this has not given way is very bullish. This is a very bullish setup until it's not. Like I keep saying, until this breaks down, these are very, very bullish continuation patterns. And from a technical side of things, if you're doing technical analysis, you're looking for the cup and handle formation after a long bout of consolidation. And now that we're on the handle, this very well could break up in a very, very big way. Very big way. And the crazy thing is, if you take this out just a step farther, and I have not been willing to do it because I wanted it to be on its own cup and handle, but there's the argument to be made that this smaller area right here was actually the cup, and this whole thing could be a big handle. So there is that optic out there as well, but I did it from the shorter time, from back here where we had the drop and back out where you can clearly see the handle formed. And now, I mean, that still would bring you up to a technical zone of $1.17 if this could break out the way it should. So that's what we're watching here on the cup and handle. And for anybody who's not familiar with analysis, the cup and handle formation from a technical perspective is the most bullish consolidation you can find. And if you bounce off the handle, the expectation is you come back to the drop point at minimum to retest that area of resistance, and that's up at $1.17. It's not going to happen overnight, but it is conditional upon the fact that the 51.5 cent level holds. We do have about a 75 to 80 percentile inverted hammer here in the weekly, which it's to be determined how this is going to play out. But if we get to the end of the week here, we've got about 2 days, 10 hours. If we can get to the end of the week and we find XRP's price action pushing up towards 53.8, if it's up in that area, this is going to engulf to the top side, and this could very well be the start of something bigger. Now, unfortunately, if we were to give way at 51.5, as we are on the bottom end of this little extended wick here, we need to get back over. We need to get back over this in a pretty volatile way in the next couple days. It's only a few percent from here, but if we do break down this handle formation, that's very bearish. And then you basically have to reset. And if you reset, I mean, that could be devastating in this pattern. So we'll just look at it from an optimistic standpoint that we are starting to build up. It has held a key level of support. Even if you look here, not just the cup and handle, but the shorter time frame, came back up, down last week, reconsolidated here, looked like it had a little bit of a reversal. And now, even now, on this weekly candle, the lowest it's touched is 5148. So that's pretty, or not 5148, it touched about 5120, which is still good because it's pulled itself back up. And now we're really looking for a breach back over 53.7 cents. In my personal opinion, 53.7 cents is where you would have to go to continue this bullish momentum, push off of a short-term bull flag that's within a longer-term bear flag. The hope is here is that that short-term bull flag will invalidate the longer-term bear flag, because that bear flag could bring us all the way down to, and it would, around that 40 cent level, and then the uptrending support going back for almost 80 months now in this pattern consolidation could bring you down as low as 38.7 cents. So that's something we have to watch for if this were to break down. But in all reality, we do have a bull flag set up here within a bear flag, and it's still very much set up. So it's very much set up. And in my opinion, as long as this holds, it should, from an investment standpoint, this is still in very good shape. That the likelihood of an ETF being proposed here for XRP as well is it's looming. We already know the Ethereum ETF, which we predicted, and we're on top of that. Bitcoin ETF, same thing. We're able to front run this market, and we've been in it since Bitcoin was at 17,000 or 27,000. And as we know, we sold out of this market in 21 when Bitcoin was up at 65K. So we did a good job with XRP. We bought in at 37 cents. We were able to get out at $1.66 and got back in at 34 cents. So now it's just another waiting game like 21. A cool thing you can do here is the XRP Bitcoin pairing, which is what I've been further pushing into because it's very out of whack. So if you look at that pairing and you're familiar with precious metals as we go over every day, the gold-silver ratio, how it was up for the better part of 2 years, anywhere between 85 and 100 to 1 relation to gold, that is when it's good to buy silver bullion. And right now, it's down to 74.9 to 1 in the ratio, which is still good. But this is the time that I decide to hold pat. Especially, I've been buying silver since it was at $12, $13 an ounce. Now it's up to 31. Gold I've been buying since 13, 1400, and now it's up to 2300. So now it's a waiting game now. Now it's come up to a level to where accumulation's one thing, but now you've got to watch it going forward. And we're on some very big consolidatory time frame or formations here with especially silver. Silver's about to break out in the near term to about $50 an ounce, and everybody thought I was crazy when I was at 16 when I was telling them, you know, in the near future we're gonna be at 30, and now it's a couple months later we're at 31, almost 32. So just continue to follow along. I don't charge anybody for anything. It's a pay it forward kind of mentality here in this audience, and there's a reason I do it like this. You got to teach what you know for everybody to get ahead. And if you haven't followed yet, join the other 21,600 subscribers that have already subscribed here and continue to be educated. When we go over to the XRP Bitcoin pairing, it's up 0.79%. It's at the 765 sat level. As we know, we've been building into this for over a month now. About $4,700 put into here. It also adds to your position. So if you're trying to buy the XRP Bitcoin pairing, you'd have to buy Bitcoin, and then you'd have to buy it using the Bitcoin into the XRP Bitcoin pairing. And then what you're betting against or betting on is the fact that XRP is going to outperform Bitcoin in the months or years to come. And you're trying to buy it when the ratio is so out of whack. This is the most out of whack the ratio's been in a number of years. It's just every time we come down to this level, we do have what looks like an inverse head and shoulders forming here. We can clearly see the left shoulder over here. So you got this inverse left shoulder, got the inverse head, got the inverse right shoulder. And what you're looking for, this parabolic push back up. Every single time we've come down to these levels in the past, it's been anywhere between a 1,300 and 5,000% move in some cases. So I'm not saying that's what's going to happen here, but just to get back up to like the 1,200 sat level, which is really where we should be at minimum, that can bring you all the way up. And this is about a 91% move just to get back to where it should be. Now, if we're talking about moving up here, and this would be, like I've said, the smallest move that it's had, and this is still over 550% to get back to the 4983 sat level, and that needs to happen in the future to come. And when you look at this from a weekly time frame, we are extremely undervalued. We're oversold in the relative strength index. We have a technical target of 4991 if we did break out of this descending structure. And honestly, I mean, I don't see any reason why it wouldn't. The only thing I've prefaced with the audience is be patient, and you're going to want to accumulate day by day and add a set amount, because when we first started, we were talking about the potential that this swings down to the 750 sat level, and it came down from, let's see, 777. We got the rejection at 769 like we were expecting, and now we're looking for the sat level to come down here around 75, basically 750, 751, and if that happens, we're in really good shape. The only way that it could be a further consolidation with, honestly, we're in the expansion zone. And if we hold the expansion zone, this is the inverted right arm. An inverted right arm is going to bring us up at least 90, somewhere around 90%. Initially, it won't be 90 though. Initially, you'd get about, I think it's like 17. Let me see real quick from the 758. Initially, this move is first sat level. I know we got to get past here. I know it's real short. 5.8%. And then the confirmation, we really need to push farther. It's about a 10% move from here. You get the confirmation at the 833 sat level, and then you open up the door. The first layer is the 900 sat level, and then you get on top of that, and it's a big, big rally. Like I said, it's up to almost a 1300 sat. What is this right now in current times? Current times is at the 1490 sat level. Let's just say, we'll mark this here on the calendar. Let's just say we hit this by, it's the end of May right now. Let's give us some time. Let's say we hit this by July 18th. That gives us no, let's do it at the end of the month. Let's give us 2 full months. So let's say we hit it in July of 2024, but it's July 31st. So that's 2 months from now. That would get us up to the 1389 sat level. So if we hit the 1389 sat level, that would give us, I mean, from the accumulation we're doing here, that would give us a rally of, holy moly, 81% just from here. So, and we're extremely undervalued. The weekly time frame's extremely oversold in the weekly, and every other time frame right now is catching up. The daily's starting to catch up as it's pushing oversold. It's still got a little bit of work. 4 hourly's trying to break back bullish in the RSI. Interesting. If this comes back down to the relative strength, I mean, we could start a bullish push even quicker. We got to do a little bit of reading here because we did have whales picking up like 200 and something million XRP. One whale, which is, that's crazy. It's like $130 million on a single purchase. So the whales are lining up for a reason. You're getting a lot of fear and doubt right now because look here, not there. When you're about to have momentum, it happens every time. Everybody gets very bearish. I become very bullish. All the other analysis that everybody does is very bearish. I do it a different way because I can see what's forming here. We can see what's forming here. We have a very nice descending structure, and that's what we want to see. So yeah, so that's what we're looking at there. XRP market cap, not much to talk about. It's up 121.2 million or 0.42% to 28.834 billion. We know we've got a big resistance point that we are trying to push back. We got an initial rejection about an hour and a half ago at about the 29 billion mark. If this continues on, we could have, that shows in the XRP Bitcoin pairing that further consolidation down to like the 7.2 sat level, 720. And that would be appropriate if we came down to 28.288 billion. Now, we don't want to break that ascending support because if we break that, then we're going to have to come back down to like 21 billion, and that's not in anybody's best interest unless you're looking to further accumulate, and that could bring XRP's price action from 51.5 to 38.5 cents. So we must be paying attention to these areas, but that's why I do it from such a in-depth perspective here. I don't just show you one thing, I show you it all. I've learned a lot over the last, it's been a long time. So With Bitcoin, we're still in that very much this inverse head and shoulders consolidatory phase. We have yet to give way in the 200-day, which is the short-term trend reversal if we were to give up that 200-day support. But as of right now, we have gotten rejection quite a few times up here at 70,700. We do need to push past that on this pennant flag consolidation, as we were in a pennant flag, but now we've pushed out to the expansion area. And all that means is, in order to confirm the pennant flag, we must break over the 70,700 and hold. The moment you hold that, this pennant flag gives you a technical target of 88,000. Now, I'm very skeptical that Bitcoin, after all this, would hit 88,000 now. The only reason that you have to pay attention is we have a perfectly formed cup, perfectly formed handle, perfect inverse head and shoulders. So taking my short-term bias out of it and just looking at it from a technical perspective, 88,000 seems to be it's a very real possibility if we hold 70,700 at any given time. The one day to invalidate this structure is if you come back into the pennant flag, you don't want to break down past 63,588. If you do, you're back within the pennant flag. And as we know, we were in a much bigger rising channel on this consolidation. And the cup actually came way down below, and it took out all of the swing lows. When it did this inverse, well, it's a cup, it's not technically inverse. Well, it is, but when it came down to the depth of the cup, that's how we came down to the 22 lows in December at about 16K. We formed a beautiful cup. And then if we were to break out of this cup formation and we got over 88K, and like, I don't like to put this up there because then everybody's gonna say, oh, I'm gonna buy it because I'm gonna get rich. Don't do it for that. This is actually not even the right time to be buying this kind of stuff because we were supposed to buy it when it was much cheaper like we did. But if Bitcoin were to get on top of 88K, you measure the depth of the cup. Just if you don't understand analysis, you measure the depth of the cup. You go to the breakout point, which would be this long-term consolidation, not the pennant flag you're not going from. You're going from that rising channel consolidation where the cup is actually the resistance. If it got on top of that, as crazy as it sounds, Bitcoin could be going up to 137,000. I know a lot of people doing analysis keep leading with that. They're like, oh, Bitcoin's going to 140K. Not so fast. First, you better make sure this pennant flag plays out. And it's in a bull flag after it broke to the top of the pennant flag on this inverse formation. So it really does look like it's all going to hinder on the fact if we get over 70,000, honestly, it's like, it used to be 70,700, but now as we come down this downtrending resistance, it's actually pretty close still. 70,600 in current terms. We do have in the daily, though, I must preface this by saying it's a little red. It's a little red, but it's been the last couple days. It looks like that looks like a gravestone doji. That's a little bearish for today's proposition. If it were to end like this tonight in about 9.5 hours, this would be bearish. That's tough to say though, because we're at 6. Yeah, definitely bearish. Never mind. That's bearish. At least for today. Being below that 68, yeah. Very well could work out that this is just a continuation, because we had a reversal candle yesterday, and this very well could just be the consolidation into the reversal. If it comes back down, you 100% are expecting a drop of about 4,000 to 63,933 to see if we can hold the pennant flag back test. As I said yesterday, we never back tested it, so it becomes very dangerous to just say, oh, we're not going to back test and just break out. Typically, you're going to back test each breakout point. And what you're doing by that is you're closing the gaps. A lot of people don't understand what that means, but when you shoot up, you have gaps filled underneath. I always say it's like manipulation, trading bots they use with crypto because that's what they do. I don't care what anybody says. There's no way to have every single cryptocurrency at once universally go up or down, so they're on trading bots. So the sooner everybody realizes that this is a big dog and pony show, the quicker you'll realize that you buy when everything's oversold, you forget the FUD when everything's overbought, and you let it do. Like everybody who's pouring into Bitcoin now, they should have been doing it when we were talking about it at 25K. It's that simple. Everybody who's pouring, like XRP is a little different. It's only gone up from 34 to about 51 right now, but it's down from 95 from the swing high of July of last year. So there is a lot of opportunity here, but there's also a lot of people that are going to get crushed. I hope some of you have been paying attention when it comes to like B2 Gold and the precious metals. B2 Gold pays us a 5.7% dividend. And if you understand the mining sector, this is one of the most profitable mining companies in the game. They have their most productive silver mine. Now they're usually targeting gold, but their newest mine has more production of silver, and it's the most silver they've ever produced. So it's something to watch. It's something to watch. It's up from just a few weeks ago when I had everybody buy back, and if you were paying attention, at $2.53, we had about a 6.4% dividend. Now it's up to 286 right now. Dividends down to about 5.6%. But instead of having your money in the US dollar as the dollar continues to crash, the more we just remember, when you print money, you're expanding the money supply. They can talk all the bullshit they want in politics. They can talk, like I said, I don't care about politics, left or right. They're just dividing us. Central banks around the world, so become your own central bank so that you don't have to go work a 9 to 5 and you can start funding the system. Like, I wouldn't be able to be here with my son if I was at a 9 to 5. Wouldn't be able to do my work. So, you know, when we start to take control of the system, just remember, they're expanding the money supply, which means the US dollar is going to continue to be devalued. And that means when you go to the grocery store, your dollar was worth less. They tell you it's because of overzealous and greedy corporations and greedy owners. That's 0% the truth. It's all bullshit. It always has been, always will be. It's a way to manipulate the public. The only thing that's happening is they're expanding the money supply, which makes things more expensive. You must contract the money supply, have less money in circulation if you want prices to go down. That's the only way it works. It's no different than if I had 100 apples and there was 200 people. There's too many people, not enough apples, less supply for the demand, I can charge more. Now, if I have 10,000 apples and we've got 1,000 people, there's less demand for the supply. Less supply, less demand. I mean, it's so simple to understand, except they don't tell us the truth. So take your own, you got to take it into your own hands. Don't listen. You got to teach yourself. That's the bottom line. You got to teach yourself. You're going to be broke in this society. It's that simple. It wasn't like this 15, 20 years ago in the same sense. But now the US dollar, they want to call it the world's reserve currency, but what happened with Petro? Nobody talks about it in the media. Nobody talks about it in the news. I don't hear anybody of my friends, my parents, my relatives, anybody who does what I do talk about this. But the world reserve currency has already changed beneath our very eyes and beneath our very noses. The BRICS nations, as I talked about last year when we went over all this and we watched every single meeting and dissected it, the BRICS are going against the US dollar now, and they are allowing different countries that are part of the BRICS to change out their own dollar or the US dollars that they have invested in, and they are changing it out for gold. So they're basically converting their currency and failing it on the gold standard. So eventually we're going to get a rude awakening, and everybody who has money in the dollar is going to be screwed in the US. Suddenly their bank accounts, and we have the bank balance thing to Obama, and I don't really care, Obama, Trump, they're all the same to me. I'm not a politics because it's all bullshit. You got to realize the central banks are demanding and telling and putting it all into place. So the sooner everybody realizes that, the easier you can get on your day and you can make some money and actually have proper investments. So we got to deal with this. We have to deal with it honestly, otherwise we're not going to get anywhere. So we do have to talk about this, and I'll talk about the ETF news later. This is already way too long of an update of 23 minutes, but there's so much stuff going on. So pay attention to this though, because technically when you see whales snapping up large amounts of tokens, so there's two ways you can look at this. If you see a whale, let's just say a whale buys 50 million and sends it off the exchange, that's fantastic. That means they're taking off the exchange, they're looking for price appreciation, they're putting in their private wallet. When you see whale takes 50 million XRP from wallet to exchange, that means they're looking to sell it. That's very bearish for price action. You want to see them taking it off the exchange and putting it into their cold wallet rather than taking it from the cold wallet and putting it back on the exchange. So let's get through this and then I'll release this so everybody can get on the same page. So single XRP whale snaps up 262 million XRP ahead of potential price reversal. So in a striking move that has captured the attention of the cryptocurrency community, a single whale has acquired a massive 262 million XRP. The substantial move comes at a time when market analysts are closely watching for a potential price reversal on XRP, the 7th largest cryptocurrency by market capitalization. As I've said over and over, if that cup and handle holds, until it's not, this is very bullish. Until it's not, it's very bullish. That's the most bullish technical indicator you can get after a long bout of consolidation. It took over 2 years of consolidating to round the bottom. So according to Crypto Data Tracker Whale Alert, and this is who I like to watch because they give you every single whale movement, 262,575,885 XRP worth $137,276,075 was transferred from Kraken to an unknown wallet. Now that is so interesting Because tomorrow, as we know, Ripple every single month releases 1 billion XRP from escrow so that there's not price depreciation as it could be. And typically they'll lock up about 80% of it back into escrow. We don't know until tomorrow, but this is a rather sizable move from Kraken. And the crazy thing is today on Kraken, I got an alert. I don't use Kraken, but I like to be up to date on every single exchange so I know what's going on with liquidity. I just happened to get an alert while my son was in surgery. And it said that Kraken for like bank to bank or any kind of like digital transfer off the exchange is disabled today. So I don't know what's going on there. So if you're on Kraken, be very careful. I've already had my doubts about Kraken, why I won't use it, but be very careful with that, because remember, they took away XRP when they had no reason to, and then they suddenly brought it back. So I don't trust anybody who took it away and didn't have the balls to stand up to the letter of the law. Only 3 of them that I know of did. Uphold won't use because they're too expensive. BITUNIX is where I love. And then also, I think there was like, I don't even remember, Bitmart maybe was there was one other one that never took it away. So got to pay attention to that. So here's the whale alert. 262.5 million XRP worth over 137 million transferred from Kraken to an unknown wallet, which is what we want to see. They're storing it for price appreciation. So the destination wallet remains unknown, which adds a layer of intrigue to the transfer. There are various reasons why tokens are moved away from exchanges. This might imply buying activity. Withdrawals from exchanges indicate an intention to buy, whereas deposits may indicate a desire to sell. The move might also imply a shift to cold storage solutions to hold for a longer period rather than sell. Whatever the case may be, such a large-scale transfer might indicate confidence in the future performance of XRP, suggesting that the whale anticipates a favorable market shift. Make sure to hit that like button so YouTube recommends this update. Make sure, if you appreciate these kind of updates and you want to be part of the community, you join the over 21,600 plus subscribers. If you're looking to pay it forward, you can always send a YouTube super chat or join Tom's Army. But all my content is free, so it's not even necessary. And then other than that, if you're looking to trade XRP in the USA or around the world, you can look at BITUNIX, lowest spot and leverage trading fees. They allow you to not have to do you don't need to use a VPN, so no reason to feel like a criminal in the USA trading crypto, because that's all a farce. It is not criminal activity. They just try to make you feel like that so you don't trade. And then other than that, just look at this. Don't forget to give thanks to Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. Pay attention to what's going on here. And like the message I end you with every single day. Help out one person each and every day, because if I don't do my part and you don't do your part, we're not going to be on the right path here as a society. So the more we can help each other. So helpful over hurtful, loving over hating, right? Positivity over negativity, and we are not the victim. We are not the victim. We are the winners here, and take that to the bank.